Every idea starts with a problem. Warby Parker's was simple. Glasses are too expensive. So they set out to change that. By designing glasses in-house and selling directly to customers, they're able to offer prescription eyewear that's expertly crafted and unexpectedly affordable. Warby Parker glasses are made from premium materials like impact-resistant polycarbonate and custom acetate. And they start at just $95, including prescription lenses. Get glasses made from the good stuff. Stop by a Warby Parker store near you.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Hello, and welcome to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture from the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm the therapist, Tess Brigham.
And I'm Brooke Brigham, the attorney.
So we are back with, after a week off for the holidays.
We took a week off.
And Sister Wives took a week off too.
Yeah, so we figured we're entitled.
Yes. So this is Sister Wives One-on-One Part 2. And just in the start with, I just want to say that these Part 2s of any 3-part anything,
They're the worst.
They're the worst because they it's like a sandwich, you know, and they know they have good stuff. So they do a little bit of that in the front and then they do the most of it in the third one. So I really wasn't expecting much, but I do think there were some moments.
There were a couple juicy moments. Yeah. And yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's like, I'm so sick of Kody. I don't know. But yeah, they spent the first part of this episode kind of rehashing this whole thing about
Rice Krispie Gate. That's what I called it. Rice Krispie Gate.
Yeah,
but they don't even mention the Krispies.
No. Yeah, about him allegedly wanting to get back together with Meri and Christine freaking out. But this was new. Robyn said that she saw Christine at her house flipping out and didn't know what it was about. Well, then you probably never would have remembered it or associated the two. You know, I love Robyn always she just backs Kody up. Whatever Kody says, she's there to, you know, corroborate everything. So
yeah, I know. One of my first notes was after Krispy Gate was Kody is losing me. I cannot follow. Like I you know, you're taking notes and you're like, I can't follow what you're saying. Like, I don't understand what you're saying. And, but yeah, Robyn co-signs Kody's story. And then they get back to Christine and she's saying Kody twisted her words, is essentially lying.
Yeah, she said she says that's a lie. That she never tried to discourage him from getting back together with Meri. And then I started to feel really sorry for Meri.
Yeah.
And she said she's disappointed because he's chosen not to love her, have a relationship with her, but she still loves him.
Yeah. Oh, that was really sad.
Yeah.
It's basically what he said to her was, you're not good enough. Essentially, like, she did all this work on herself.
Right.
This whole time he's probably complaining to her about how you're selfish, you're this, you're that, you're not being nice to your sister wives, whatever it is, criticizing her and telling her if you were better, then if you worked on yourself when you're better. And then she looked inward and started working on herself, and then even that's not enough. And that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and his typical hypocritical self, that he criticized Christine for not wanting to stick it out and work it out and go to counseling and, you know, all this stuff that Meri is doing or is willing to do. Mm-hmm. He just ignores that. And so
thank God for Janelle. Thank God for Janelle. Janelle comes in, she says what's really the truth, you know, what is really true from this very, you know, self-involved, you know, perception. And you're like, yes, that's what it is, which is somewhere in between all of this, right? Is the truth.
She tries to see both sides, I think.
Yeah. And then they have us watch this retrospective of the family when at its best, you know. And I would say since our family is small, those big Christmases do look good.
I don't know. They always give me anxiety.
Oh, really?
They look so chaotic and I don't know.
Oh, I feel bad because we have such a small family, and it's always, I don't know. You can't win with this stuff, right? If you have people that are in these families of 6 or 7 kids, they're mad because they weren't paid attention to enough.
Yeah, you can't win.
Yeah. Well, anyway. So, but then I can't remember who said this, but I thought this was, maybe it was Kody, where he was saying at the beginning, and then we kind of skipped to the beginning of the marriages, right? Where they were all young. And Kody, I think, says this, like, they were all young, figuring themselves out through marriage and raising a family together.
Yeah, he said that the relationship with Meri was hard from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And he said that when Janelle came in, she diluted it, which is an odd choice of words. But he said Meri was caustic, jealous, and he thought that Janelle was really something special.
Yeah. Well, Janelle is something special.
She is something special. But yeah, so, and he did admit that, it is a very odd thing to marry somebody.
Yeah.
And then to, I don't know how many months later, or a year later, whatever it is, bring in a second wife. And
yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I just think it seems like Meri was, even though she was raised in this kind of a lifestyle or religion, she seemed very ill prepared for it. She was only 19 when they got married. That is very young.
Yes. Your brain's not fully formed yet. I mean, again, personally, I don't think anyone should be allowed to get married before 25. I know, and there's lots of people that get married young and they have great marriages. I'm not saying it's that. It's just when you're 19, Layla's 19. Like you're trying to figure things out. You're trying to figure out who you are and what you want and what does it all mean. And I feel for both of them where they have this church that's telling them you should go do this. This will get you to heaven. This will be good. This is the life that you're supposed to lead. And then they get into this life and so okay, Meri and I are not getting along because we don't really know each other very well because we've known each other like 6 months or whatever. And so let's bring in someone else. Okay, now this is a whole new set of problems. Okay, let's bring in someone else.
Yeah,
like this
doesn't work that way.
The way it seems like, I don't know if it's the religion that's telling them like, bring in a new wife.
Well, yeah, and he said that Janelle and Meri just butted heads over everything down to what kind of soap to use. And this is where the sharing a kitchen comes in. I guess, like...
Well, wait a minute. It was also... Kody said something that I never knew before. It was Meri's house?
Well, I think what he meant was, like, it was their house. But, like, I think what he meant to say...
Okay, so she was
like the woman of the house. And then he brings another woman into her house.
Okay. For a second there, I thought it was like, oh, Meri... like had a job and made money and bought her own house. I had no idea, but I get now that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. And then Christine also said Meri was direct and aggressive. She was confrontational and the kitchen was a big issue. She wanted to control when to cook, what to cook, cleaning up, just everything. So that's where the my wives can't share a kitchen originated.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the other one, too, where Christine said she never knew if Meri was mad, not mad. And that, I will tell you, since we have someone like that in our life, where it's a little bit of like, it creates a tremendous amount of stress and a tremendous amount of like walking on eggshells, having a pit in your stomach all the time. So, and so then Kody admits, right, that during the early years, Janelle moves out. This is the first time we've ever heard.
I had heard this before. It was in their book. But I think this is the first time that I can recall them talking about it on TV. And so Janelle says she moved out and moved in with her mother. But her mother was married to Kody's father.
So they must have moved into that.
So how did that work? She took all her kids and moved to the farm.
Yeah, I mean, I think at that point she probably just had Logan and maybe Maddie, right? This is early.
I don't know. I think most of the kids were born because she said it's unclear how long she stayed there. And then I don't know who said this, if it was her or if it was Kody. At some point in Wyoming, they got 3 different houses. And so, but then Kody wanted to move to Utah And basically Janelle refused to move to Utah at first.
And then Janelle said, it was very quick, but she said something to the effect of, I had been building a life, right?
Yeah, in Wyoming.
And I bet you she had probably a really good job.
Yeah.
You know, that's how Janelle sees things, is through work, right? But she's then really encouraging Kody to buy that house in Utah. It's very confusing.
Well, I think because she wanted her family to be together, but there was no way she was going to live in the same house with Meri and Christine, because she said it was just too hard. And so that house in Utah, apparently it had been built by another polygamous family. So it was designed. So they lucked out.
Yeah.
And got this house. And so when they got that house, Janelle moved to Utah. Mm-hmm. And then pretty soon thereafter, I don't think they lived there very long before they started filming the show. And at that point already, like, Savannah was about 4 or 5.
Maybe.
Yeah. So,
okay.
I don't know. The timeline is iffy.
And this is why I say thank God for Janelle, because this is when Janelle says, because, Kody's got this narrative that it was the Meri Christine club, he says, right? And that Janelle, that there's all this conflict. And she's saying that Kody remembers it in a way that works for him to remember it, she says. And she sees it differently, right? She's saying that she basically says Kody is looking to blame everything on conflict. That this is why things were...
Conflict between the wives.
Yes.
Like, he had nothing to do with it. Yeah, because that's the thing. It's like and then fast forward to present day, where he's complaining about how all these women are complaining to him all the time about each other. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
You're their husband. They're venting to you. Who else are they going to vent to?
Yeah.
Who else could they go to in confidence, and vent? That's just human nature. And it's your job. If you're going to have more than one wife, you got to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he clearly didn't deal with it back in Wyoming or Utah or anywhere.
Never dealt with it. Yeah. He's never dealt with it. But he finally admits something, Kody, that I think has always been, if you read any blogs, if you read anything about the show, that has been a theory of everybody's, which is that he married Christine because she was royalty in the church. Finally admits that. Yeah. And from what I understand from the book, which I've been listening to from another podcast, but sometimes I fall asleep when I'm reading it. So I don't know if this is right or not, but that she was the one that really liked him and basically asked to be part of the family. So I think that Kody from the beginning, right, felt this pressure, and he's sort of alluding the church, right, felt this pressure of, I've got these 2 wives, they're not getting along. There's this new woman coming around. She's the royalty of the church. So let me give her a shot. Let me see if this makes it work. And I think that, right, but the problem is that when he says to Christine in the famous knife in the kidneys episode, it was a sacrifice to love you. Basically, he's blaming Christine, or he's mad at Christine for something that, right?
He chose.
Yeah. And so she comes around and she says, I want to be in this family. And I like it here. I want to be a third wife. We all know that's always what Christine has wanted. And she obviously has always been very much in love with Kody. And so I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's like, he's mad at her for his choice, but also for the fact that he could never muster the love for her, and that he wasn't ever attracted to her, and he's angry at her for that. But I know, well, she came around and she asked it, you don't have you can set boundaries, Kody.
Yeah.
You can say no. You can say don't come into the family. Well, let me think about this.
He admitted that he thought it would be a good idea to marry her and he said it was because of his ego. And I do remember from the book that, Christine was kind of coming around, and then she'd kind of be out of the picture and then come back in. I think she just kept coming back around. And then she described one time where she was very disappointed to find out that they were courting another potential sister wife.
Oh.
I think this is where this fit in. Yeah, in the book. I know I can't pinpoint the time in which this happened, but it happened because I remember it clearly from the book where, and I don't know if it was before Janelle or before Christine, but they were courting this other young woman, but she, backed out or whatever. And then when Christine saw an opening, she really, went for it. And I guess Kody agreed. But yeah, such a strange marriage.
Yeah.
To say the least.
It has been very, knowing what we know now, as I'm doing my rewatch, it's so obvious how one-sided it has been. And yeah, Kody's mad because she finally wised up and was like, I'm not going to love you. And then we switch. There's this very quick switch to, now we're talking about Christine telling the family that she's leaving. Back to the,
back to the knife and the kidney clip.
And Christine claims that she didn't know that she was being mean to Robyn. Christine admits that she may not have let Robyn in as much as she wanted. And I think this is very interesting because this is a boundaries thing. Right. This is about someone deciding, and that's and it is very presumptuous and for Robyn to expect someone to let them in. Right?
As much as she wants.
You, the individual, you get to decide how much you're going to let someone in. And if someone's not going to let you in all the way, then you decide whether or not you want to have this relationship with them.
Right. It is presumptuous. And again, it's someone with these high expectations and then they have unmet expectations and then they're upset about it. And it's like, we talked about this before, this whole idea of this sister-wives relationship being like a BFF thing is just ridiculous. I mean, they're co-workers.
Yeah.
And in the old school traditional Mormon families, it was really all business. I don't think these women were, I think they were just, they were working together to do what they had to do. They had a lot of kids. It was a very oppressive situation. They weren't going out and, going out to lunch together or whatever,
Yeah.
So Robyn's expectations are just way too high, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, and I just don't think that it is possible. I think that it is possible for two women to be attracted to the same guy and be good friends. 3 women, the odds go down. 4, that's just not going to happen. Like 4 women aren't going to be attracted and want to marry the exact same guy and also be the best of friends with each other at the same level with each other. That's the part that makes no sense. Anyway.
Yeah.
But so this is when Kody starts to talk about how Christine shit talked about Janelle and Meri to him for 2 years.
2 years. After he brought up the reconciliation thing.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm back to, and they talk about this a little bit more, but it's like, Kody, it's called venting. Yeah. It's venting. Everybody vents. Everyone has issues. Everyone has issues with other people. And usually in monogamous marriages, you come home and you bitch to your husband or wife about the person at work that you can't stand, or your mother, or this person or that person. Like that's how it works.
Yeah, everyone has a person who's like their person, who they vent to, they can say anything to. And Kody just can't handle it.
No, and obviously, I think the other part of it too is, and as Christine's admitting, that Kody bought into it too. Like Kody was also venting. So I think that's the other part of it too, I think why Christine is so confused. Because I think Christine would be like, oh God, Meri again, ba 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 ba. And I think that Kody would be like, Meri, ba 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 ba. And I think that was very common for the two of them. And, I think the other part of it is because Janelle's the one that said Kody is like a sieve, like everything goes through him. I think Janelle figured out a long time ago, don't vent to Kody about anything because he's going to be mad about it, or he's going to tell someone else. Yeah. He's going to twist it. And I think, again, this is back to why Kody loves her so much, is the fact that she would never vent, but she didn't feel like she could. And that's not really a great relationship.
Yeah, she couldn't trust him.
Yeah. Oh, good word, because this is when Sukanya asks Kody, who do you trust? And this was weird.
And he just
This was odd.
was pissed.
Yeah. Very odd. Like, you could see him thinking in his mind, like, everyone knows it's Robyn, but I'm not going to say Robyn. And this Kyle is trying to trick me into saying Robyn and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's this weird, you know, he just got this look in his eye.
And he growled like it's like, this is really pissing me off. And then he growls literally and then takes a sip of his coffee and then he's like, we can talk about this another time. And I was kind of upset that she was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And
She
that's,
should have pushed him.
yeah. Well, and then that's when I was like, thank God for Janelle. Because, you know,
Yeah, she
Janelle
comes in and explains that
Yeah.
he can't see both sides of things and that Robyn is not some perfect angel and he has this myopic view when it comes to Robyn and her struggles, but
Yeah.
nobody else.
yeah, she says, if you're really married to both women, if you're, this is really, she said, if you're really married to both women, you're going to see both sides. And I think this was the issue that Christine had, which is, my God, see my side.
Yeah, he never saw her side.
You know, or, you know, try to understand, again, empathy, which narcissists can't have. So, yeah. So Janelle says that Kody couldn't take a side, but he was doing that now. Can't remember what I meant by that, but. Janelle says Kody couldn't take a side, but he's doing that now. Yeah.
Yeah, and then for the first time, you know, we haven't really heard much from Robyn through this whole entire one-on-one thing, but then she kind of pipes in and because Sukanya asks her for examples.
Yes, yes.
About Christine and what did Christine do to you that was...
Yeah. Well, I think she first asked Meri. You know, I thought that was an interesting moment of Meri because I was like, I'm not a huge fan of Meri.
Meri really didn't say anything.
But in that moment, I was like, okay, now Mary's being very reasonable. Because in the clip of the show, Meri was like, I've seen Christine's non-acceptance of Robyn. And so when Sukanya asks Meri for examples, Meri really can't blame, she cannot come up with anything. And she almost defended Christine in that moment or defended someone else. I was like, what is happening here? You're making no sense either.
Because it's been several months since she said that thing about, I've seen her mistreat Robyn. And since then, she has seen all these clips of Kody.
Yeah, you're right.
And what he said about her. So she has a very different take on Kody, I think, at this point. But yeah, so then Sukanya asks Robyn for some specific examples. And she said she had differences with Christine in the beginning, difficulties with Christine in the beginning, snarky comments, not including her, pulling rank. It's like, ooh.
Leaving her out.
Keep going.
Yeah. Ooh, okay.
So, it wasn't very juicy, but it was like, that was kind of all we got. And
again, you can see this. I mean, listen, this is the thing. If you're a Meri fan versus a Robyn fan versus a Christine fan, like, you can see all of this in so many different ways. You know, Christine, we saw and we can see over these last 17 seasons that Christine is not a mean person. You know, that maybe that snarky comment was a sarcastic comment, right. You know, that she interpreted. You know, maybe she was just trying to, like, you know, tell Robyn, this is how we do it, you know?
Well, and even nice people make snarky comments sometimes, or, you know, act like a bitch sometimes. So,
yeah, no. This surprised me. Christine says that she wasn't super close to Janelle until Flagstaff. And I was like, what? No, I saw you guys in, Utah. They weren't in Utah in the show. They weren't in Utah very long in the show. So I'm still in the Vegas episodes. But I always saw them as being very close.
Yeah, because
I was really surprised.
Yeah, because Christine was taking care of Janelle's kids. Janelle seemed very grateful for that. Her kids love Christine. Maybe when she means not close, it's not bad. It's just kind of neutral. Like they were more like coworkers.
Yeah, that got along. I think maybe it's more of that their relationship got to a deeper level because now that the kids are grown, they probably are like, oh wow, we're really friends outside of children, right? Like, any couple is, where they realize like, oh wow, the kids were what the glue was that were keeping us together. Now they're gone. We don't get along. Maybe this is just they're realizing like, wow, we really like each other.
Yeah. And also they're probably bonding over all the shit that Kody's putting both of them through.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this is where Christine talks about she wasn't being mean, just venting. She saw Kody as a sounding board. So that's very interesting too, because again, I think it sounds like Christine was going to Kody and saying, hey, Meri did this, this, and this. It hurt my feelings. What should I do? And all he heard was, Meri's a bitch. Mm-hmm. Versus maybe there was something more. I mean, listen,
again, most men, they have those, that's their reaction. Like,
they how to solve it, how to fix it.
Yeah.
Or they just don't.
Well, they either don't really, they don't see the nuances of it. You know, or again, she's just venting. She's not necessarily saying, I hate her or, you know, this, you have to do something about this. It's just venting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So Kody says Christine has blamed Kody for everything. All the reasons. Oh, this is really
this was a good one.
All the reasons she no longer wants to be in the marriage are his fault. And Kody thinks that Christine has been shit talking to. Well, there's two parts to this. So Kody can't at all take any responsibility. So he keeps claiming that the reason Christine is leaving is that she hates him and she's mad at him, which is, I think, part of the reason. And then Kody thinks that Christine has been shit talking to her kids and to Janelle's kids. And that, combined with COVID, is the reason he has no relationship with his older kids. He didn't say that last part.
Right.
That's the implication. Has created these factions and why these people are talking.
And he's also blaming her for pulling Janelle away.
Yes.
From them.
Yes. He's very upset about the fact that Janelle keeps hugging her. And that's so Kody. Like, he's so upset that Janelle would hug Christine in that moment. And these two moments, the knife in the kidneys, porch talk, and the saying goodbye moments. And it's like, and then Janelle's like, she needed a hug. It's like, yes, Kody, yes, you can maybe disagree with someone, but also hug them because you care about them. Like, he doesn't understand, you're right. He doesn't understand the nuances of relationships, that they're not all one thing. They're not all black and white. They're not all, you're on my side and you love me or you're against me.
I know. And this whole thing with loyalty,
you
have to be loyal to me.
I would just like to say, Kody, October 11th, you missed your child's birthday. Never forget. Yes. You missed your child's birthday. And that is not on Christine, that you don't remember Gabe's. It was Gabe's birthday. That was on you. Like, so I did not hear Gabe or any of these adult kids crying about anything that Christine has done to them or said to them.
No, Gabe said he was sad Christine was leaving.
Yeah, because they all loved Christine because she's a great mom. She's a great mom.
Well, and we see them on social media now. She spends holidays with them, Janelle's kids, and everything else. I mean,
yeah, because she helped raise them.
Well, and here's the, excuse me, this is the creme de la creme, where he says that Christine is doing all this.
This is great.
She's, talking so badly about him and doing all this so that she can find a new man, because a good man isn't going to want a woman or trust a woman who left another good man. Most guys would say that's risky. So this is all about, all about him. And this isn't the first time he's mentioned her, going off with some new man who's somehow going to take all their money or do this or that. That's really what he's, is, again, ego.
Yeah. This is all his ego. Yeah, but that was great. I meant to ask Steve that question. I wanted to get a man's opinion. I'm like, do you think, is that really what you would think? But it's so inane. It's so inane.
It is inane. But and then this is my favorite part was, so Sukanya, first she asked Janelle, like, well, what kind of a man do you think Christine would end up with? What is her type? And she mentioned some kind of, I don't know. This weird looking superhero.
Yes, I wrote it down.
Character.
Durotan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who looks like, very strange.
Like Jason Momoa, kind of.
But he's got like weird stuff sticking out of his face.
I mean, he's not human.
No,
he's not
human.
Yeah.
But then Sukanya says, well, who's your celebrity crush? And then I did not expect this. She says Shamar Moore.
Yes.
And I was like, you go, Christine.
Christine, I was like, I co-signed that one.
Yes.
He is very, very cute.
Set your sights high.
Yeah. If you don't know who Shamar Moore is, look him up on IMDb. He was on
very hot.
Criminal Minds. I don't know what that show's still running. So I don't know if he's still on it, but he's very cute.
Yeah. So Christine she's ready for something better.
Yeah. Well, then they start getting into the final goodbye, the infamous final goodbye, where, and Janelle very much, she says, yeah, it was like there was a line in the sand. And then we get to rewatch Kody yelling at Ariel, like, about the hugging. And I'm like, he really doesn't understand COVID, does he?
No.
Like, what? Like, no, just me. It's like, no, is this a COVID thing? Like, but again, I think that comes back to that, it's got nothing to do with COVID.
No.
It's got to do with loyalty and you do not hug my enemies, Ariel.
Yeah. He didn't want all of his kids or maybe even Robyn going and hugging Christine goodbye.
Yeah.
He wanted to just go hug Truly.
Yeah.
And that was that.
And Truly's face during that hug, she was frightened.
She looked scared. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, and again, it was just too much with him. Like, I love you, Truly, I'll miss you. It's like, I feel like saying, how often have you seen Truly in the last 6 months?
That one time they filmed her going to his house. That was it.
So yeah, Kody doesn't understand why Janelle would hug Christine if Christine once complained about Janelle. So he's bringing this back. Like, why is Janelle hugging Christine? Because Christine badmouthed her and shit talked her and blah, blah, blah. You're just kind of like, okay, Kody, guess what? I know that there are people that shit talk me. I'm sure you have,
yes, we have shit talked each other to our mother, our father, whoever will listen.
And then when it's just us, we're shit talking our parents.
Exactly. That's how the world works, Kody. Welcome to families.
Yes. And you're venting and you're complaining and you're laughing because they're doing something that's always doing. Like, of course.
Yeah.
So-and-so said this and so-and-so said that. And it's not even that you're not angry at them. You're kind of partially laughing and partially kind of just laughing at the fact that your family's predictable. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it just makes me wonder, like, what kind of family did Kody grow up in? I guess you weren't allowed to complain about anybody or, I just get this feeling like, remember a couple episodes back, he said something like, well, I have daddy issues and now I'm putting daddy issues on my kids. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are those issues? I mean, I think he just grew up so repressed or something that you weren't allowed to express feelings or have opinions or vent or anything like that.
I also think that I do often wonder what it's like for them because they've, for the last decade plus, what's it like to be on a reality show where you're showing people your whole life and people are criticizing it and talking about it like we are here. Mm-hmm. Like, what does that do to you? That's what I always wondered. And I think that for some people, it forces them to be more introspective. I think it's really ruined him.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's something about him, I don't know, seeing himself or something.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe I'm giving him too much credit.
No, because, there's a lot of people who've been on reality TV for 10 years and they've learned to take it with a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. Don't read comments. You know what I mean? And so, yeah.
All right.
Well, right.
I'm always trying to figure out Kody, but but yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And Janelle, I think that Janelle, more than any of them, really understands what it means to be a sister wife. Like, that's what it means to be a sister wife, is knowing that Christine at some point has complained about you, but you see that she needs a hug and you give her a hug. Mm-hmm. That's family. That is family. Mm-hmm. Family is, you piss me off, you do this,
it's unconditional love.
But I love you and I care about you and I'm of course going to keep showing up for you.
Yeah.
So, and then this is, when they get into the Christine's ideal man is Durotan. And he says he's an orc. And I should have asked my son, but orcs are bad guys, I think.
Well, I think she likes the bad boys.
Oh, she does. Well, Shamar Moore, yeah, he's not a huge bad boy, but I
think he plays one on TV sometimes.
Let's see. Now we get Robyn. Robyn.
We end, I think, with Robyn complaining about everything.
Yeah, she's upset because she, a friendship is up to Christine. She's mourning the loss of the big happy family. They took it away from her. She feels cheated. And I want to get into the second part here in a second, but I think what's so interesting about this is she really, Robyn, I feel for her in the sense that she really somehow got it in her mind that what would make her happy is being in this big, giant, polygamous family.
Right.
And she sees this family. She's like, oh, this is great. I'm going to hop right in. And this is going to solve all my problems, and this is going to be great. And the problem is that you can't expect everybody to be like, come on in.
Yeah, we just love you. The sight unseen. We don't know you, but here,
Yeah, we're gonna unconditionally love you at, what are you, 30, 35, right? We're gonna unconditionally love you. You're gonna come in. You're gonna upset the entire dynamics of everything in our lives.
Right.
But we should unconditionally love you. I think that's the thing is that I think Christine was being normal and being a little bit like, I got to get to know you.
Yeah, no, that is a normal response.
Yes.
Robyn's expectations, again, her exceedingly high expectations. Yeah, that she's going into this fantasy.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be like that forever and everyone's going to accept her. And now she's saying she's angry and they took it away from me. She's just making it all about herself.
Yeah.
And I really watched her this entire time because people always talk about how she cries but no tears ever come out. And I was really, really looking. Mm-hmm. She
no tears?
No tears.
Oh.
I don't think she's really crying. I think she scrunches up her face and she does that voice and I mean, it's so insincere at this point.
Because the thing is that you entered this family, I think Logan was 16. So you're going to be close to Logan, who's leaving the house in 2 years. Do you know what I mean? You're going to be close to Hunter, who's, 13 or whatever and is into football. Like, it's just this weird idea. I don't know. So weird. I don't get it. Yeah. So, and then she talks about, and this is what is going to be about awesome, because I wrote down part 3 looks good, which is that Robyn says that she's Kody's whipping boy. She feels like the scapegoat for everything. And then Sukanya asks Kody about his relationship with Robyn and he refuses. I say that Kody becomes a child. This was the other weird moment where he gets really angry and upset and,
refusing to talk.
Yeah,
basically
like a baby, a little kid or a teenager having a tantrum.
Well, I think he sees this whole thing as like blaming Robyn for everything. But if that's the case, then stick up for her to explain to us. Yeah, explain to us why you love why your relationship with her is so great. And yeah, that's strange.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very.
The whole thing is very odd, and we see in the scenes for next week. So we'll talk about it then. But we see that she is, that she basically claims that Robyn, that they basically dumped him on her, and that.
Well, I think maybe she's talking about like during COVID, which I think they did. They were just like, well, we're going to go on with our lives. We're not going to follow your rules. We're going to go on with our lives. But please, before COVID, Christine anyway was desperate for him to spend time with her.
Yeah.
I don't know about Janelle. She probably could have used a little more time too, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see
next week
what Robyn's talking about. I don't know. Robyn, again, she's got a big ego too. She's concerned about how people see her. She doesn't want to be portrayed as, the bad guy with Kody. Yeah, the two of them plotting together to.
Again, I really don't everyone always thinks Robyn's so sinister. I really don't think that she's sinister. I think that she is someone who, and she admits this, that she's fearful of confrontation. She's fearful of saying no. And I think that she just goes along with Kody. And so Kody sees that as trust and respect. And I think for her and loyalty. Yeah. And I think Robyn, it's not that she's loyal or that she's diabolical. It's that she just can't, she doesn't have boundaries and she can't stand up for herself. And that's the problem, right?
Yeah. And she's just kind of a Pollyanna, really. I don't, she's just kind of, I don't know. Her life experience has just not been much.
Yes, I know. I watched that episode about her flower. What was that whole thing? Her flower, when she did that whole talk in front of the entire family, her flower was taken.
Well, because she had sex before marriage and got pregnant and had to marry Dayton's father, who's the father of her older 3 kids. But why are you telling this story to little children?
I know, that was so bizarre. Can't wait until we do our re thing. All right. Well, another episode, and it makes me very sad that
only one more.
I know. Then we have to talk about our, if we should do a whole rewatch. So maybe you can all tell us whether or not we should do a full rewatch. We would still do our regular show, but this might be just like a bonus or something. But if you do want to talk to us, then you can email us at psychlegalpoppodcast@gmail.com.
Our regular show will be out this Thursday.
Yes.
We'll be back to
the regular, back to regular programming. If you like this podcast and you think it's awesome, then please go and give us a 5-star review.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe to the podcast and tell your friends.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
That new thing? Yeah, we've got it. The Drop by GNC, bringing you all the newness that matters, handpicked by the pros who actually know what's up and what's proven to work. We keep you on top of the trends and dialed into what's next. Whether you're crushing it at the gym, leveling up your game, or thriving every day, The Drop by GNC is where the latest solutions in health and wellness land first. Non-stop innovation and fresh finds daily. Explore what's new and what's next on The Drop by GNC.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA is heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.